Good morning, everybody. I'm Tyler from the Drunk Nerds podcast. I'm here to live react to what I assume is the PS5 Pro. Um, Obviously, Mark Cerny showing up. He doesn't show up very often. I think the last time we really saw him was, the last couple times we've seen him is whenever there's a big reveal of a PS5 or PS4 Pro or whatever. So safe to assume that, or maybe it's just Knack. Who knows? Knack 3. They don't give up the dream. If you hear my birds in the background, I do apologize. It is in the morning, so this is their wild hour. But yeah, anyways, I'm Tyler from the Drunk Nerds podcast, where Gables and I get together every weekend and talk about video games, everything we love about them, and hate about them, all that stuff. So if you like this, like what we're doing here, please follow, subscribe, check us out. We're on podcast services. Our podcast goes up every Sunday morning. But before the show starts, I've been, whether you've listened to us before or this, first time you ever watched anything we were doing, my prediction for this thing for a while has been, especially since the PS5 like Slim model came out, and like you get to buy the disc drive separately. I believe, I can't remember exactly how it works. My prediction has been that this thing will be $600 with a disc drive separate. So I think the disc drive is like $80 or something like that. So maybe there's a $650 edition with the disc drive, but that's kind of been my base prediction. We've seen, I think, what PlayStation's like around 80% digital at this point. So, and obviously they've been raising prices. We just seen the DualSense just went up $5 kind of secretly over the weekend. So yeah, I'm curious about it. Like, is there, like, what is the big selling point they have for us here? Like, we've heard people talk about like the upscaling and stuff like that. Like, is that gonna be the big thing? Because obviously with PS4 Pro, it was kind of an easy sale with 4K and HDR. HDR was like the big thing. Like, I remember when the PS4 Pro was being rumored forever, and I was just like, this is stupid. I don't want this. Who wants this? And I remember shortly after the PS4 Pro came out, I bought a 4K. Bought my first 4K TV and had HDR. I remember playing Titanfall 2 on it with the HDR, and I was like, oh. And I bought shortly after a PS4 Pro, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. But what's the big selling point here? Because like I have a launch PS5, and mine's still doesn't. It's not like the PS4 was, where it was a jet engine at that point, and eventually the PS4 Pro also became a jet engine. But yeah, like what's the thing that's gonna make us sell? And I know, like, it's easy to say like, oh, who's gonna buy this, and it's a fair argument, fair discussion, but I think this is definitely gonna be one of those things where it's for the hardcore. I think like been seeing the stats and stuff, and people have pointing out like the PS4 Pro only was like 15% of PS4 sold. I think it's about the same for like the Switch OLED, so it's definitely like probably gonna be. I wouldn't be shocked if it's something similar to that. So basically, you're just selling to the people like they already bought the thing, and there's like these are like the hardcore. These are the sickos out there that are, the ones that want like the best possible thing. So honestly, wouldn't shock me if it's $700, but I don't know. It'd be funny though. The only thing I'm curious is like how good is my brand new copy of Concord gonna look on this PS5 Pro? That's what I want to see. And my last prediction before we get into it is about 30 seconds away. Is the launch date. So if I said $600 at launch, disc drive separately. Maybe there's a disc version as well for $650. My prediction is there's that leak that the Lego Horizons Adventures is coming out November 14th, I believe is what the date was. And that's my prediction, is it's going to launch. And that might be like the big selling point, honestly, the big selling game, because they don't really have a lot that's like big coming out. I don't know. This year, maybe they announce something here. Who knows? But I won't be shocked. Maybe we get like some sort of like tease or game announcement with this as well. Like maybe not major, but all right, here we go. I think it's about 9 minutes long, so let's get into it.
Hi, I'm Mark Cerny. I'm excited to be here to talk about the newest addition to our console lineup, PlayStation 5 Pro, and how it advances gaming technology. But first, I want to take just a minute to look at what we put in the original PlayStation 5 and how it delivers an exceptional gaming experience. When PS5 debuted in 2020, it brought a lot to the table. 8 Zen 2 CPU cores form the brains of PlayStation 5 and enable high-speed, complex gameplay, with character counts reaching into the hundreds and frame rates that can be as high as 120 frames a second. PS5 has a powerful RDNA 2 GPU, which can render anything
Major
from
games
intricate
were at
details
120 frames per
to
second.
fantastic worlds with vast panoramas to explore. Ray tracing allows for dramatic visual improvements, including reflections off of water or glass, and the realism that comes from real-time global illumination. A custom SSD can load data at breathtaking speed, resulting in ultra-fast transitions between game worlds.
Ratchet and Astrobot
And
have
data
definitely been
streaming
two of the
rates
best looking
so high
games
that
on the
traversal
platform.
speeds are essentially unlimited.
Also Spider-Man 2.
You okay? I'm working on it.
Tempest 3D audio tech brings an unparalleled sense of immersion to the sound of the games. With audio so real, you may not even need to see the enemies to know exactly where they are.
That is actual. The headset they sell for this thing is fantastic.
Finally, the DualSense controller has haptics that let you feel through your hands what your character is experiencing inside of the game. It's wonderful to see such variety and richness of game experiences. Creators have made amazing use of the hardware capabilities, but when I talk to them, I do hear about their desire for more graphics performance.
There
The
we go.
dreams of the developers are bigger than can be supported at 60 frames per second, and that leads to an aspect of modern gaming that we're all familiar with: graphics modes. It can be a difficult choice for players. Fidelity modes emphasize the visuals, typically through higher resolution rendering. These modes might also have enhanced detail or use more ray tracing. But the games only run at 30 frames per second. The visuals can be choppier, and the controls less responsive. Performance modes emphasize frame rate and interactivity, typically choosing to run at 60 frames per second, mainly by reducing the graphical detail until those frame rates can be achieved.
Yeah, I guess this has like been the major complaint with the new consoles is
When asked
still having to
decide on
choose,
the mode,
you know, all
players
these
are
years
choosing
later.
performance about 3/4 of the time.
Yep.
Removing
Same.
that decision, or at least narrowing that divide, is one of the key targets for PlayStation 5 Pro. We want to give players the graphics that the game creators aspire to, at the high frame rates that players typically prefer. To do that, PS5 Pro substantially improves over PlayStation 5 in 3 ways. Here's what we call the Big 3. First, we made the GPU much larger and increased the speed of the memory it uses. The result is rendering that's up to 45% faster. Second, we made major upgrades to the ray tracing, taking a streamlined and accelerated approach that allows calculation of the rays at double or even triple the speeds of PlayStation 5. And finally, we added custom hardware for machine learning and an AI library called PlayStation Spectral
Yeah, so this has been
or
the rumors.
PSSR for short.
Yep. So,
PSSR analyzes the game images pixel by pixel
yeah.
and can add an extraordinary amount of detail, which boosts the effective resolution of the games. Game creators are adding PS5 Pro support to new and existing titles.
So we're calling
With
it.
the Big 3 involved, the results can be pretty amazing, with graphics showing something like fidelity levels of detail, but at double the frame rate. Here's The Last of Us Part 2 running on PS5 Pro. It has huge amounts of detail and targets a super smooth 60 frames per second. Let's compare this to the Fidelity mode on PS5, which is only running at 30 frames per second and is therefore much choppier. This goal of delivering almost Fidelity-like graphics at performance frame rates has been achieved for a broad set of titles, including Marvel's Spider-Man 2 and Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. We can see that PS5 Pro is close to doubling the power of PlayStation 5. Another way to compare the two consoles is to look at PS5 Pro versus Performance mode on PS5, both of which target 60 frames per second. What we see here is a difference in detail. PS5 Pro is much sharper and crisper than PS5. For this, my favorite is the parade scene from Ratchet & Clank. Distant details are much clearer. And here we can see Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is noticeably higher resolution throughout the scene, including the trees and procedural cars.
Oh, okay.
So overall, some remarkable improvement to the games. On PS5 Pro, we can see increased sharpness.
Yeah,
to
this
the
definitely
graphics, or smoother and more
It's
responsive.
gonna be for the sickos out there.
This is the Big 3 showing their value.
Yeah, this is
As
not.
you've been seeing,
They don't have the
machine
HDR,
learning
the 4K
via
this
the
time.
PSSR library is being used quite broadly to add pixel detail and boost frame rate. But there are as many approaches as there are game engines. The increase in raw GPU power is being especially effective for Horizon Forbidden West. Apart from the detail boost, that extra graphics power is allowing for improvements to lighting and visual effects, as well as to the hair and the skin in cinematics.
Open up, guys.
Yeah, playing Zero Dawn with the PS4 Pro and HDR was like a game changer to me.
Ray
Like,
tracing is
like,
finding
oh my god,
great usage as well,
So,
particularly when the games are
curious to
focused
see
on
Forbidden
higher
West
frame
with it.
rates. The faster hardware in PS5 Pro can make a real difference, allowing Gran Turismo 7 to add ray-traced reflections between the cars in gameplay, while continuing to support their targeted 60 frames per second. That boost in ray tracing is also delivering big wins for Hogwarts Legacy, allowing not only for better reflections and a greater variety of reflective surfaces, but also for further realism in the casting of shadows. I hope you've enjoyed this run-through of the technology behind PlayStation 5 Pro.
I wonder if you're gonna have the
Simply put,
date or
it's
price
the
on
most
this.
powerful console we've ever built, and a worthy addition to the PS5 family. Let me wrap this up by giving you a quick look at a number of games running on the new console.
You'll never
Yeah, it looks like that rendering I think a Bilbo Coon had. That was like the 3 slashes. Yeah, so okay.
Don't let me hang.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about it. I wonder if they even put the price here, or I'm gonna have to probably have to go online and see if they even say anything about it.
Close your eyes. It'll be worth it.
Okay.
Did I do it? Oh, what is this? What's with all the neon?
Yeah. Okay. Nothing so far. Thought maybe there'd be a blog post out already or something. Yeah. It almost gives me like, I remember, I think it was like IGN or somebody as a joke put up like a screenshots comparing like Last of Us Part 2 on PS4 to the PS5, and they did the remaster, and it was just like the difference was so marginal. So I don't know. This is, like I said, this is definitely for the sickos. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Oh shit. November 7th. $700. Wow. They did it. All right. I'm gonna go. Okay. We gotta go back here. So, all right. So, Wow. Okay. So $700. November 7th. So a week earlier than I thought. More expensive than I thought. But, I figured, like I said, $600 for a, for the digital version, than what, another $80 for disk drive. So a little more expensive than I thought. I guess does that even confirm it has the disk drive in it? I gotta assume it has a disk drive, because things are like, so like those things are, the price of a disk drive in a fucking console is like pennies. So I imagine it does. Yeah. I guess I'm not too surprised by the $700 price point. It's definitely, I mean, like I said, this is going to be like, I think they know this is who, like they know who's going to buy it. It's people, it's like, it's kind of like Nintendo. They put out those new like collector edition models and stuff like that. And it's like, so yeah, wow, $700. Yeah, wow, Jesus. It's like, I lost train of thought there, but, oh yeah, with like Switches and stuff, where like they put out those collector editions and stuff like that, and it's like a lot of times it's just like the same people that already own one, they just buy the new collector edition. Like I have multiple friends that have bought multiple Switches at this point, just because they come with the Zelda one, or they bought the OLED and they made the Zelda OLED and stuff like that. So I imagine that's gonna be the case here. I imagine it was probably the same thing with like the PS4 Pro. Is probably a lot of the people that already bought one. We're getting one, and I mean what we're seeing now with this generation, even kind of with last generation, we didn't see a price drop. So like really, I think the only technical price drop we got was when the PS4 Pro came out. It came out at $400, and they dropped, like the original PS4 was $400, and they dropped that I think down like $100, and then they made the PS4 Pro $400. So they kind of just replaced the price point. And this is a steep increase here. Yeah, I'm not expecting this thing to. It's kind of like almost like the Portal, the PlayStation Portal at this point, where I don't think that thing, like, I don't think they were expecting that thing to be like a 20 million seller, but it seems like it's doing better than they thought. Like it sold multiple millions of units at this point, and I probably assuming the same thing here is probably going to be like I bet they probably assume that 10 to 15% of people that bought a PS5 are going to buy upgrade to this thing. I don't think this is definitely not a thing that's going to. I don't think a lot of people are going to run out. That if you run out and buy this thing, like most casual people, like unless like you have the money to spend. But like if you don't have a PS5 already, maybe it's worth. Like I could see if you have if unless you're buying for your kid or it's gonna be more of a family console thing, or you're just like a Joe Schmo who doesn't really care, then yeah maybe. But maybe you just buy the $500 edition. But if you're a kind of a tech geek or whatever, or like you have the money to spend, maybe if I was where I was 8 years ago, when I think it was 8 years ago when the PS4 Pro came out, and obviously it was $400 compared to $700, but I guess with inflation it's probably not too much different at this point. Like dropping the money on that thing, when I was much younger and had a lot less bills to pay. Yeah, I would definitely would have probably bought this. Like I think I traded in my, I would have traded my PS5, probably got like a couple $100 for it, and then made it like marginal to buy. But nowadays, yeah, I can't. And then also on top of it, there's like, I don't really feel like they did a lot for like someone like me that's doing this live reaction. Like, I don't know, I don't like cool, like the backgrounds look nicer, and all that. Like there's no like HD. I thought HDR was like the big was like the thing that like really changed my mind on the Pro. That's something that was totally against it until I saw HDR and everything, and then I got a 4K TV. But it's like cool. It's like the console's not going to run faster. The games download really quickly now. I have gigabit internet, so my like it's not going to increase my download speed. My PS5 like going to the store works fine. It's not gonna make that go faster. It's like I don't know. Like what's the like I said, this is gonna be. I keep saying it, but this is for the sickos. So yeah, November 7th of this year, a week earlier than I thought. Sorry, my oh, I don't want to say it too long. Alexa was talking to me. That scared the crap out of me. I don't know why she was doing that. I don't know what I said, but yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't think this is going to be for the casuals. I don't think this is made for the casuals. It's just like I said, the Portal. It's just people that really love PlayStation or just really into like tech and all that. Like this is for them. And yeah, wait to see. Gables and I will talk about it more on Saturday night when we do our podcast. I'm curious to see what he has to say. I'm sure he's probably laughing at this right now. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, follow, subscribe. Check us out. We're on podcasts everywhere, podcast services everywhere, on YouTube, everything. 5-star reviews, share it with friends. We're on Twitter, Facebook. There are links down below to get you all those places. Extra Life is coming up as well. It's a cool charity that we do, play games 24 straight hours and raise money for children's hospitals around the country. So if you want to sign up for that as well, that'd be great. There's a link down below to get you there as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Love you guys.